Grace and peace of Christ be with you. Welcome to video number 12 in the Lettering the Word series. In this video, I would like to talk about sources for future study. The Lettering the Word series was never envisioned to be a training class in calligraphy. Its purpose is primarily to teach you to use lettering as a means of doing Lectio Divina, as a means of growing closer to God through His Word, by slowing down and spending more time with each word as you write it. But I know that many of you will be interested in continuing to perfect your skills in calligraphy. And there are many wonderful resources available, especially now in our digital age. And in this video, I would like to show you some of the things that are available to you on the internet and by way of correspondence study. For your future study, first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about a daily practice method. This is a method that Sheila Waters promoted in her classes. She made a distinction between what she called analytical practice and rhythmic practice. In analytical practice, you look carefully at the models in your book. You get a firm image of the letter in your mind, and then you write the letter. After you have written it, you look back at the model that you have written and you critique it. Make notes for yourself. Practice the construction of serifs. Make your letter forms consistent in style. Watch for equal spacing of vertical strokes. She often suggested practicing what we call a letter chain. A, N, B, N, C, N, D, N, etc. Because N becomes a spacing device for you to learn to do proper spacing between minuscules. Secondly is rhythmic practice. This is what she calls a right brain activity. And here we write complete words and sentences. And in this method of practice, you concentrate putting the strokes on the page at an even pace and at a regular rhythm, rather than stopping to analyze as you go. The idea is that you want to start to create a flow to the lettering. You don't stop to make corrections. You simply move on through. And when you're doing Lectio Divina, this is the kind of lettering that you are doing. You are simply lettering with the flow and not being analytical at the time. Over time, these two forms of practice will come together, and you will learn to write carefully and yet at the same time with a beautiful flow to your writing. For your future study, there are many online classes. I suggest that a good source for this is a company by the name of John Neal Books, which is located in Nashville, Tennessee. www.johnnealbooks.com. Here you will find a publication weekly of online and in-person classes. These are usually very specific on a certain style of lettering. I recommend that as you begin, you concentrate on one letter style at a time until you have perfected it. Stick with the foundational hand and the Roman capitals until you have learned them thoroughly before exploring other hands. But here you will find online and in-person classes that you can take on specific hands, and several of them will be for beginners usually the foundational hand or Roman capitals. John Neal is also an important source for calligraphy books and materials, pens, ink, and so forth. You will also find here announcements of conferences and workshops, the International Lettering Arts Conferences and Camp Cheerio retreats in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. These are not religious retreats. They are retreats in the sense of getting away to concentrate on doing lettering. You will also find here a list of private tutors who are willing to teach beginners. Here you see the splash screen of John Neal's page for online classes. And you'll notice here that there are links for live classes at which you must be present at a certain time, or pre-recorded classes, which you can do at your own pace and on your own time schedule. My best recommendation to you is a correspondence study that is sponsored by the Society of Scribes and Illuminators, based in London. You can reach this at https://calligraphyonline.org/. It is made up of 4 units. You work at your own pace. The units are, first of all, Roman capitals. Secondly, the foundational hand. Thirdly, the foundational hand continued and beginning the italic hand. And finally, italic variations. The teaching that you will find in these units is extremely good. And as you complete various exercises, you mail them to a personal tutor who is assigned to you, and he or she will make corrections and send them back to you. The cost is £250 per unit, or about, at this time, $336 per unit, depending on the present exchange rate. That may sound like a lot, but it's actually a bargain, because if you were to attend a workshop somewhere in this country, you would have travel expenses, room and board, plus tuition fees. This you can do at home at your own pace and receive expert instruction from some of the world's top calligraphers. Here is the splash screen for the Society of Scribes Calligraphy Correspondence course. Finally, I would recommend to you the International Lettering Arts Conferences. The first Lettering Arts Conference was held in 1981 at St. John's University in Collegeville, Minnesota, at the Abbey of St. John. Conferences have been held regularly each year at universities all across the country until the pandemic of 2020. Since that time, conferences have been less regular. I advise you to watch the list of conferences given at John Neal for up-to-date information. These conferences feature classes that are either half-week or full-week classes given by well-known calligraphers. Recent conferences have also offered online options. Each evening there is a keynote address given by an important calligrapher. Vendors display books and materials and present demonstrations. You receive lots of freebies from various companies who are promoting their products. And it's a wonderful opportunity to meet other calligraphers from all across the world. Generally, these are held on college campuses and housing is usually in student dormitories. The last and most recent conference was held last summer in June of 2024 at St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa. And it featured the work of Father Edward Kadich, who was the world's expert on the Roman alphabet. I wish you well and God's blessing on your continued study as you learn letter forms. And my prayer is that calligraphy will bring you closer to the Lord through your Lectio Divina. May God bless you and grant you peace.